Hey y'all, how's it going? GetMeowth here. It's been a while since I made a YouTube video. Life's gotten pretty crazy, but no better time to get back into it than a new expansion season. It's like Christmas 3 times a year. I'm really excited, and it's freaking dragons. So many dragons. Dragons are cool. You can't hate dragons. I'm really excited for this set. I'm really hyped to see how we can break the meta this time. So yeah, today we're going to be reviewing the 30-ish cards that they revealed at BlizzCon. Uh, obviously looking at these from the scope of Wild, that's all I play. That's probably all you guys care about if you're watching this video. And we're going to be looking at these cards in Wild. We haven't seen the entire set yet, and we haven't play tested with these cards in any sort of meta. So of course, take these with a little bit of a grain of salt. Or what you can do is you can go ahead and clip what I say about these cards and be like, hey, Meowth, you were completely wrong about this card, blah, 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 once we actually see the expansion. But yeah, without further ado, let's go review some cards. Alright, so first up, we're going to look at the 3 Druid cards that were revealed, starting with the legendary Ysera Unleashed. So this is the legendary dragon. 9 mana, 4/12, of course, it has to be. It is Ysera after all. With the battle cry, shuffle 7 Dream Portals into your deck. When drawn, summon a random dragon. So these Dream Portals are 9 mana, or 7 mana, or 9 mana spells, I believe. That again, summon a random dragon. So, in Wild, these cards that say summon a random blank are usually a lot worse than they are in Standard. But I will say, when it comes to summoning random cards of a specific tribe, dragons are probably the best that you can ask for. Because on average, dragons are pretty damn powerful. So yeah, is this strong enough to push an archetype on its own? Probably not in Wild, because slow, grindy control decks just aren't a thing currently in the metagame. But if the meta somehow does shift, I can see Ysera being a very powerful top-end card in something like a Reno Dragon Druid, maybe just Reno Druid, or maybe just like a big ramp Dragon Druid that runs, Oakheart and Dragon Hatcher and similar cards. Speaking of other dragons, we have the 6 mana 4/8 Emerald Explorer. This is a dragon card as well, with the text Taunt, Battlecry, discover a dragon. So this is Stonehill Defender, but better. No, I'm just kidding. Stonehill Defender was nuts, but this card is pretty damn good. I think it probably fits in, just pretty much any slower druid. A 6 mana 4/8 Taunt is nothing to scoff at. It's pretty good, and it's the ability to replace itself, or discover something like a Malagos or a Deathwing, or even stuff like Primordial Drake, Azure Drake. Depending on the druid deck that you're running, I think this card's very good. And then probably the best card revealed so far from the BlizzCon set is Breath of Dreams. So this is a 2 mana spell, draw a card, and if you're holding a dragon, gain an empty mana crystal. So this is the card that Wildgrowth died for. We finally get to see the card. This card is absolutely bonkers. So this is the card that's going to make those slower ramp dragon druids a thing. And this is the card that's probably going to push like some sort of dragon package in druid decks. Whether it's Reno Druid, maybe Jade Druid, and maybe even Taunt Druid, because Wild Growth was one of the most busted cards of all time before it got nerfed, and this is Wild Growth but better if you're holding a dragon. So therefore, this card is like 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, 100 out of 100, whatever you want to use to rate cards. But this card's bonkers, and this is a card that could push dragon synergies in Druid in Wild. Alright, moving on to Hunter. So we actually have seen a lot of Hunter cards already. So let's start with the legendary card that was revealed for Hunter, Dragonbane. This is a 4 mana 3/5 mech. After you use your hero power, deal 5 to a random enemy. So, of course, when you're looking at Hunter and you're looking at mechs, you have to take the mana cost with a little bit of grain of salt because of stuff like Mech Warper and Galvanizer. This is basically a 3 mana 3/5, more often than not. And I think this is a nice little top end to something like Mech Hunter. I don't see it going nearly anywhere else. Because you play it top end, you draw it off of Jeeves, and then you hit a hero power, and then you get 5 extra damage face. Or 5 damage to maybe kill a minion that can kill your mechs, you know? I think this card's solid. I don't think it's, like, busted. But I think this card's pretty good and will slot in nicely in Mech Hunter, but I don't foresee it seeing play anywhere else. Alright, next up we have some 2 cards that I'm actually kind of excited about. Inspire Hunter, question mark. So, there's this 2-mana 2/3 Steam Wheel Sniper that used to see play just because it allowed slower Hunter builds to utilize its hero power to target minions. So now we've officially been power creeped. We have a 1-mana 1/3 with the same effect. 1-mana 1/3 premium stats. Now your hero power can target minions. You play this on 1, you can hero power ping something on 2. I think this card's busted. I think this card's really, really good. I think this card's going to go in any sort of slower Hunter like Reno Hunter, or maybe a kind of top-end Death Rattle or Secret Hunter. The card's pretty damn good. Next up, we have Phase Stalker. This is a 2-mana 2/3 beast. After you use a hero power, cast a secret from your deck. Again, 2-mana 2/3 premium stats. After you use your hero power, cast a secret from your deck. So this won't activate stuff like Spellstone, and it won't activate stuff like Secret Keeper. I don't know. We're maybe hitting that point where we have enough, secret synergy cards to push Secret Hunter over the top. And I actually think in the current metagame, Secret Hunter is actually not bad. It's a pretty good deck. It's just not nearly as good as Secret Mage. And therefore, it receives all the hate that Secret Mage is getting targeted with. And therefore, it just never has gotten to see the light. But I think this card can go nicely in Secret Hunter. Anytime you can thin your deck of crappy draws like Secrets, it's good for you. This curves nicely with Masked Contender, potentially. So you go Masked Contender on 3, this on 4. Or you could always just temp it out on 2 if you need to. I don't know. I like this card. I think it's good. Maybe something to keep an eye on as we see more cards and as you start brewing cards or decks for the new expansion is maybe like an even Secret Hunter could be on the horizon. Because Spellstone's 6, Rexar is 6, Hyena is 4, Scientist is 2, Putricide is 4. I mean, you lose out on some strong cards, obviously, but, just something to keep in mind. But I think this card's good, and probably will see play if Secret Hunter sees play. Next up, this card talks, near and dear to my heart. Toxic Reinforcements. So this is a new mechanic that Blizzard has introduced to the set, called a side quest. Very similar to a quest, but you can run 2 of them in your deck, and you run 2 of them in your deck, and they function very similarly to quest, although they won't start in your opening hand. This one is a 1-mana spell. Side quest, use your hero power 3 times, reward 3 leper gnomes. So this card is very, very good at hitting face, right? And so if this sees play anywhere, it will be in Odd Hunter and nowhere else. You kind of want to hero power as Odd Hunter, and 3 leper gnomes is 6 damage just via the death rattles plus the 1/1s. I can see this seeing play in Odd Hunter. No joke. Will it make Odd Hunter good enough to see play on ladder? No. But if you're running Odd Hunter for the memes or for fun or for whatever reason, you probably want to stick Toxic Reinforcement. Alright, next up we have 2 Dragon Synergy cards for Hunter. We have Primordial Explorer. It's a 3-mana 2/3 dragon with Poisonous. Battlecry, discover a dragon. So Discover got pseudo-nerfed, right, when you can no longer get the class bonus, but Primordial Explorer is still just a pretty good card. We ran 2-mana 1/3s, Nether's Bite Historians, that did the same thing. This is a 3-mana 2/3 with the bonus addition of poison. This is going to go in your Dragon Hunter deck, but I haven't seen anything that has convinced me that I want to play a Dragon Hunter deck yet. And next up we have Corrosive Breath. So there's obviously this nice synergy with dragons and poison when it comes to Hunter. With Carrion Drake as well from a previous expansion. So here, 2-mana spell, deal 3 damage to a minion. So this is another 2-mana deal 3. Pog. If you're holding a dragon, it also hits the enemy hero. So this is maybe one of the payoff cards for Dragon Hunter, which is going to be a more aggressive Hunter build. or a more aggressive dragon build because you're in Hunter. There you go. Sorry about that. I mean, I think this card's good. Like, 2-mana deal 3s are pretty damn good. You get to kill stuff like Mech Warpers. The health point gets a little bit iffy when it comes to stuff like Totem Golem and Henchman Thug, but he can still kill stuff like Kirin Tor. So I think this card's just very, very good. And again, the playability of this card depends on whether Dragon Hunter sees play. Alright, next up we have Mage. Starting with the Legendary Dragon card, one of the probably cooler cards in this set, in my opinion. We have Malygos, Aspect of Magic. Battlecry. If you're holding a dragon, discover a upgraded mage spell. So this 5-mana 2/8 dragon doesn't look like insane when it comes to stats, but the upgraded, mage spells are pretty nuts. And the fact that this is a Battlecry means you get to synergize it with Bran and, and Barista. It fits very, very nicely with all the other Battlecries the dragons have in that current minion Reno Mage style. So I can totally see Reno Mage shifting towards a dragon synergy. The upgraded mage spells, I'll put them up on the screen here as well. But you have 2-mana Arcane Explosion, like 2-mana AoE, deal 8 damage AoE, deal 3 damage to a character and freeze it. That costs 0 mana, so it's a 0-mana Frostbolt. 3-mana draw 4, 1-mana deal 6 split across random enemies, 1-mana Frost Nova, 1-mana Poly, and then a 1-mana Kabbalist Tome. So the upgraded spells are absolutely insanely good. I think this card's really, really good. I'm going to be playing Dragon Reno Mage. I'm excited. This card's probably going to be crafted golden in my near future. Next up, we have Azure Explorer. Oh my god, this card is so damn cute. Looks so, so cute. Okay, anyways. 4-mana 2/3 dragon. Stats lines are crap, but it's got a really, 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 really powerful text. You got spell damage +2 in addition to a Battlecry Discover a Dragon. I just think this card's solid. I think it's good. It's not card draw like Azure Drake, but discovering a dragon, we just talked about this with Malygos. You got plenty of synergy when it comes to Battlecries in Mage. I really like this card as well. This is going in my Dragon Mage and my Dragon Reno Mage and all that kind of good stuff. And next up, we have the Mage's Side Quest. Spend 8 mana on spells. Reward, summon a 6/6 dragon. I'm just not seeing a place where this sees play. It's not bad. It's like not god-awful, but like it's not nearly good enough for me to want to run it in a deck on purpose. Next up, let's talk about Paladin. So, Paladin, Dragon, 4-mana 7/7 has been power crept. We now have a 4-mana 8/8 to evolve into off of our Desert Hares. Nozdormu the Timeless. Battlecry, set each player to 10 mana crystals. So the way that this actually works is these are empty mana crystals. So you can't play Nozdormu and then immediately, spend your 6 mana. Your opponent gets 10 mana crystals before you do. I don't think this card's actually good. I think the only time you'll see this seeing play is when people evolve into this off of Desert Hare and you're hitting the bottom right concede button. Next up, we have Sand of Breath. 1 mana, give a minion +1/+2. It's not bad. Give it Divine Shields if you're holding a dragon. So, I mean, it's pretty powerful for 1 mana. So, Dragon Paladin is a mid-rangey, beefy deck. Hey, let's, play Nightbane Templar. Let's play Dragon Consort. Let's cheat mana. It's a mid-range deck. This is a decent card in a mid-range Paladin, but I don't think it's good enough to make the top 30 cards. And neither of these two cards, I think, are good enough to push Dragon Paladin, but we'll see. Alright, next up we have Priest. Let's talk about Galakron. So Galakron is... We have this League of Evil, 5 classes, and the League of Explorers, 4 classes. The League of Evil, all are going to get hero cards, but they're all the same hero cards with different effects in the 5 classes. So all 5 of these classes are going to get Galakrons that are going to do different things. Galakrons kind of act like spellstones, okay? So, there's 3 versions. There's a base version and 2 upgraded versions. Instead of, upgrading it whenever it's in your hand by doing a special thing, you upgrade it wherever it is by playing specific cards that do something called Invoke Galakrond. So we'll talk about all three of these together. We have Galakrond the Unspeakable, 7 mana. All Galakronds are going to be 7. With the battle cry, destroy 1 random enemy minion. You have to invoke twice to upgrade. So the middle form is destroy 2 random enemy minions, and the final form is destroy 4 random enemy minions. Once you have played Galakrond, your hero power becomes add a random priest minion to your hand. Now, whenever you invoke Galakrond, you also trigger the battle cry. So even if Galakrond is in your deck, you haven't played him, and you invoke him to upgrade, you will get a random priest minion into your hand. Okay, now that we've gone over some of the technical details, let's talk about Galakrond. So Galakrond reminds me a lot of Anduin. Okay, destroying, Anduin destroys the 5 attack and up minions. This destroys random enemy minions. So it's not going to kill your own stuff, like sometimes happens with Anduin. Anduin also gives you the ability to control the board and potentially set up lethals. With Galakrond, you kind of give that up for the value generation. So I can actually see, Anduin sees playing combo Reno Priest and the grindy kind of control Reno Priest decks. I can see Galakrond replacing Anduin in those grindy control Reno style Priest decks. It depends on how, what tools Priest gets and whether invoke cards are good. And so let's talk about them. First up, we have Time Rip. This is 5 mana Assassinate, destroy a minion, with the additional benefit of invoking Galakrond. So you can basically think about it as a 5 mana Assassinate, which was terrible and never sees play, with the ability to upgrade your Galakrond and get a random priest minion. Okay, let's go ahead and say this: random priest minions are not very good usually. So I see Time Rip seeing play if you want to run Galakrond because you need to invoke Galakrond, but I don't think it's a good card on it. So next up we have Fate Weaver. So now this card I think is kind of pretty good, right? So this is a 4 mana 3/6 dragon, right? Pretty good stats. Battle Cry, if you've invoked twice, reduce the cost of cards in your hand by 1. Okay? So if you can somehow invoke twice, you're basically playing Emperor Thorson on a stick. Battle Cry. It's pretty good. Fate Weaver is really, really good. I think Galakrond's pretty good. It's just the invoke mechanics and how good are they. But yeah, Galakrond's cool. Invoke mechanic, interesting. It depends on how good the cards are. These set of cards, I think Fate Weaver's awesome. Only playable if Galakrond's playable, which depends on if the invoke minions are good. So we'll see. Alright, next up we've got Rogue. Rogue got a bunch of cards revealed as well. Let's start with the Legendary Dragon, Waxadread. This is a 5 mana 7/5 dragon. Death Rattle, shuffle a candle into your deck that resummons Waxadread when drawn. Basically like an anti-fatigue strategy for Rogue in Standard is basically what this card's getting at. But what I can actually kind of see happening is making kind of a Waxadread deck. So you play Waxadread, you can copy Waxadreads, and then you'll have 4 or 5 dead Waxadreads on your board, and the moment you draw 1 candle, it should resummon all of them. I believe that's how that works. So it can make a cool meme deck, but it's a 5 mana 7/5 in Rogue. Do you run this in Odd Rogue? I don't think so. Maybe Waxadread and Myra synergy. I'm just not certain where this sees play, but it's a really, really cool card, and I'll definitely be messing around with it. But my instinct is that it will not see play. Next up, we have Candle Breath. 6 mana spell. Draw 3 cards. Cost 3 less when you're holding a dragon. This is 3 mana, draw 3 most of the time if you're running Dragon Rogue. It's pretty cool. What dragons does Rogue have outside of Waxadread? I think Waxadread's actually the first dragon that Rogue has. So it depends on whether they get more and how good the neutral set supports this. But in a class like Rogue, 3 mana draw 3 could never be bad. Now let's move on to the Rogue version of Galakrond. We've already talked about the invoke mechanic and how it upgrades. Base Galakrond, draw 1 card, draw 2 cards, draw 4 cards. Okay, those are the 3 phases, and they all cost 0. All the cards that you draw cost 0. That's pretty powerful. It's asking for dumb things to happen. I'm sure something's going to break it, whether it be in standard or in wild. Problem is, again, how can we invoke it? Okay, let's take a look. First spell, 1 mana, Praise Galakron. Give a minion +1 attack, invoke Galakron. Gosh, this looks horrendous. Okay, next up we have Umbral Skulker. This is a 4 mana 3/3. If you've invoked twice, add 3 coins to your hand. That seems busted, yeah? that seems busted. Seal of Fate, 3 mana spell. Deal 3 damage to an undamaged character. What? This is 3 mana backstab, by the way. Yikes. Invoke Galakron. Okay. So now you must be saying, wow, Praise Galakron and Seal of Fate are garbage cards. You know, it must have a really powerful hero power, you know, that when you invoke, you at least get a powerful thing in return. No. Galakron's hero power is add a lackey to your hand. Galakron itself is powerful. Umbral Skulker is pretty powerful. The other rogue invoke cards are absolutely horrendous. Therefore, I cannot see this seeing play, at least in wild, because the support's just not there and not powerful enough. Next up, we have Shaman. Poor Shaman only got 1 card revealed, but it's a pretty powerful card, okay? We have Lightning Breath. This is a 3 mana spell. Deal 4 damage to a minion if you're holding a dragon. Also damage its neighbors. So it's like a mini meteor for 3 mana. When it comes to Shaman AoE outside of like Scheme and Volcano is just pretty awful. And I think this is just pretty good. I mean, I don't think it's like the best. And I don't think like Lightning Breath is the reason you run dragons in Shaman. But if dragons in Shaman become a thing, Lightning Breath is a very, very nice piece that you get to add. Alright, moving on to my favorite class of Warlock. Let's talk about Warlock Galakron. Okay. Galakron the Wretched. Summon 1 random demon, summon 2 random demons, summon 4 random demons. With the hero power, summon 2 1/1 imps. Okay? You do not want to run this Galakron in the same decks that you're running Warlock Death Knight. So looking at the other invoke cards for Galakron, I totally see this as like the top end of a Zulok deck, which actually excites me because Zulok needs all the help in the world when it comes to wild. Okay, so every time we invoke Galakron, we get 2 1/1s that synergize with stuff like Evil Genius and Grim Rally, and just general Warlock synergy cards. So I'm all about Galakron. The random demons kind of scares me a little bit because while there's some really, really freaking good demons, there's a lot of really, really bad demons as well. But if this is play, it's totally in the top end of a Zulok deck. Alright, now let's talk about some of the Warlock cards. Dragonblight Cultist, 3 mana 1/1, Battlecry, invoke Galakron. Okay, so you summon the 2 1/1s first, and then gain +1 attack for each other friendly minion. Okay, this card's not very good, but you can think about this as a 3 mana 3/1 that upgrades your Galakron. Okay, it's still probably not good. It's a 3 mana 3/1. It's got 1 health. Okay, but compare these to the rogue cards, it's much better than that in my opinion. Next up, we have Fiendish Rites. Invoke Galakron, give your minions +1 attack. So the order on this card is strong, like very important, right? So you invoke first, so you get the 2 1/1s. And then you give your minions +1 attack. So now you're basically 3 mana, summon 2 2/1s. 3 mana 4/2 is like not the worst thing in the world. That's arena playable. Like I don't think Fiendish Rites is as bad as it looks. And with all the other token synergy cards available to Wild Zulok, I actually don't see this being a horrendous card, while also being able to upgrade your Galakron. I'm okay with it. And last but not least, we have Veiled Worshipper. Say 4 mana 5/4. Battlecry, if you've invoked twice, draw 3 cards. 4 mana 5/4 is just really good stats. And now I get, if you invoke twice, I get refill on an aggressively statted minion. So yeah, Galakron, decently powerful, top end to Zulok. I am not convinced that Zulok is, busted now. It's still too fair in my opinion, but maybe there will be other cards that we see that kind of push this archetype in. Alright, moving on to Warrior. We only saw 1 card from Warrior, and that was Deathwing, Mad Aspect, Pog. New 8 mana 12/12. New card to evolve into off of your Mogu Flesh Shapers and Evolve Shaman. I love that they keep buffing this deck. It totally needs all the help in the world. Am I right? But let's talk about it in actual warrior decks. It's an 8 mana 12/12 dragon, battle cry, attack all other minions. Okay, so if you can cheat this out via recruit, it's a 12/12. It's good. 12/12s are good. Okay. If you're playing it from hand, it's basically an 8 mana Twisting Nether, as long as you don't have anything on your side of the board. Okay. I don't think that's bad. I think it's perfectly fine to run this as like a top end and like a dragon control warrior. I think that's perfectly fine. I think this card's good. The problem is control warrior and wild, lol. Because, you know, grindy control decks, you know, they're everybody at this point can do infinite value if they need to. And there's a lot of broken combo decks out there right now. So while this card's good, I don't think it has a home and will not see play in wild. So moving on to neutral minions, we've got 5 more cards. Alright, first up is the card that we all got, Sathravar, 9 mana 5/5 demon. Battle cry, choose a friendly minion, add a copy of it to your hand, deck, and battlefield. I've been playing with this a little bit in Reno Mage. This is like the ultimate value card. I don't see where this sees play outside of something like Reno Mage. You can't really run it in Reno Lock because it's a demon. Like the only home I see this seeing play is in like Luna Pocket Galaxy Mage, where you get, you know, to play a 1 mana card alongside it on turn 10. So you get to play like Rag and then put a Rag on board, hand, and deck. Because of that, like, it's a very greedy card. It's very value oriented. Probably won't see much play outside of like Luna Pocket Galaxy Mage. Alright, next up we have Devoted Maniac. 4 mana 2/2 with Rush, Battlecry, Invoke Galakron. 4 mana 2/2 Rush isn't killing anything. But you're invoking Galakron. Yeah, maybe. Like, if you really need to. But we'll get to some better cards that can invoke. Next up, we have Evasive Draconid. Poor Wargolem just continues to get power crept and power crept. We have a 7 mana 7/7 dragon with taunt that can't be targeted. It's a big boy taunt. It's a dragon. It's not terrible stats. Like, this is really, really good in Arena. I don't think it's really, really good in Wild. I don't think it's constructed playable in Wild, but it's not as bad as some other cards out there. Okay. Next up, we have Twin Tyrant. This is an 8 mana 4/10 dragon. Battlecry, deal 4 damage to 2 random enemy minions. Yeah, it's just like not good enough. It's 8 mana and it's not powerful enough. Okay. Last but not least, we have Shield of Galakron. 5 mana 4/5 taunt. Battlecry, Invoke Galakron. This is probably one of the best invoke cards that we've seen so far. 5 mana 4/5 taunts are playable, right? We played Apple Bomb when we wanted healing. So therefore we'll play this if we want to invoke Galakron. I think this card's good. Like in the slower decks that want to run Galakron, you're probably running this card as well. Alright guys, that's it. It only took forever. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm really excited. There's tons more cards to see as well. And I'll be doing, short reviews like this for every 20 to 30 cards that are revealed. So make sure you guys come back if you guys enjoyed this and are interested in my thoughts. I'm really, really excited to play with these new cards. I hope you are too. I'm so ready for dragons. Dragons are so awesome. But yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in and watching. If you guys want more live content, make sure you guys tune in to me on Twitch, where I stream 5 days a week. And you guys can follow me on Twitter as well, where I post a lot of updates and some deck lists. But make sure you guys drop a sub here if you want to see more content like this. Appreciate you all a ton for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.